So more or less, really, with the Bruins, it's just things that happen within our group chat creates our own news at this point because nothing's going on. I think
Solid.
the biggest thing we've talked about in the last couple of weeks is Trent Frederic. I've seen for a fact, just via social media and through different accounts, Trent Frederic has been dialed in this summer and he's been working out and he looks ready to go. I've heard from interviews, listening to Jim Montgomery, he expects big things from Trent Frederic. I've heard whispers from around the NHL. People think this is Trent Frederic's breakout year. That's what I'm hearing. And I'm going with it and I'm rolling with it. And I've always been a Trent Frederic guy, so I'm not going to stop now. Do I ever expect Trent Frederic to be a 1C? No, I don't. But I do think he's going to be a formidable top 9 player who can play up and down your lineup, can play meaningful minutes, and is a guy you want on your side in the playoffs. Let's hear your takes on it.
See, I'm not as sold as you. Now, don't get me wrong. When he first kind of, broke into the league and fought, I believe it was Matthew Perreault, who recently retired. I was on the train. I was on that Freddie Fight Club train, and I was super excited. One of my favorite Bruins players ever is honestly Sean Thornton. I love that dude. So to see Trent Frederic coming up and being able to do, similar things, that was really exciting as just like a pure hockey fan. But in the back of my mind, I don't see it. Like, I hear what you're saying about had a really great summer, really dialed in, etc. I don't buy any of that stuff. You hear it every year with
but I
players
mean,
and it doesn't pan out.
That's tough though, because I've had many conversations with you even last year where you argued you thought Trent Frederic was poised for a breakout year. So what changed your mind? He hasn't done anything to change your mind. Is it just you changing your own mind?
I think the Bruins organization changed my mind. Like, I feel like they false started him and they brought him in to play a role where he was, the rough and tumble, drop the gloves, be, in people's faces, like a really aggressive player on the ice. And then he did a couple of stupid things on the ice, got some, really dumb penalties. And then they're like, whoa, like pump the brakes. You need to calm down. And he got a little heat in the media, of course, from some other teams. I believe that was around the Kirill Kaprizov hit, if I'm not mistaken.
And Ovechkin, probably.
And Ovechkin, where Ovechkin kind of speared him in the stones.
So Trent Frederic doesn't like Russians. Who sees a problem?
I don't know. But I don't know. That's kind of where I'm stuck with Trent Frederic. Like, I feel like he was playing his game in Boston, and then they said, hey, cut that shit out. And then you saw him last year after that, and he was a completely different person. You didn't see that spark.
Yeah, he didn't have he wasn't out there chirping, wasn't out there running around, but he did. He had 8 goals. He did okay. I really don't. I think it's too early for us to give this judgment on Trent Frederic. I think we need to give him another year with a new coach and see if it works. If it doesn't work under another coach, I'm with you on that. But I do think we generally if they let him play, they need to let him play. I think Trent Frederic, the player, could be a talented NHL player. It doesn't mean the Bruins will ever let that happen, because the Bruins notoriously have some trouble developing talent. We talked about that last week. The Bruins have not drafted and developed really any centers since 2011. They haven't really. I mean, so it's they have a fucking development issue. I agree, but I don't know, Kev.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Jake. I'm a big Trent Frederic guy, and he had the scoring touch in college. It's taken him a little longer to get going here, but he needs to be able to play his game like you guys have been saying. It's just, if he doesn't feel comfortable doing that, like with Cassidy, he did one wrong thing, he's in the doghouse. He's punished for it. You need to let him just play his game, let him do his third line thing, let him hit, let him chirp, let him score, let him do that thing, let him be comfortable in all aspects of his game, and it will come. That's why I feel it's just you need to let him be him.
So do you think?
Exactly.
Yeah, I was thinking that
and
too.
Over time, he's gonna grow out of that. He may grow out. He may end up being like Tom Wilson and be a dick his whole career.
No, I even think Tom Wilson's grown out of it a bit. I actually like Tom Wilson. I mean, he's an asshole out there, but
Scumbag.
he's not like his hits sometimes are bad, but he's not like a bad dude. Like guys around the league don't
sometimes
hate him.
bad.
Guys
Taking
around the
people
league
out
don't
for the
hate.
season.
Yeah, but like guys around the league do not hate Tom Wilson. They don't. Like look at him when he's at like the All-Star game or not the All-Star game. What was he at? Like in the bubble. It's the Pasta and him are hanging out all the time. There's like all kinds of stuff. Like those guys, he's not like a bad dude. Like he's not Evander Kane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? He's not like an asshole, I don't think.
So for Trent Frederic, let me ask you this. Do you think that they will truly let him play, let him make the mistakes, not pull him or reduce him
Yes.
in the lineup? You think that a year where the Bruins are going for it by bringing back the veteran team and trying to give one last kick at the can, that they're going to just be okay with mediocrity in the lineup?
Yeah, no, they're going to allow not mediocrity, no, but they're going to allow young players to make mistakes. They've said this already. Montgomery's came out and said they're going to let young players make mistakes and find their way. Cam Neely said this team needs to do more of that. The writing's on the wall for the Bruins. As much as this is their last run, if they care about their future, they have to develop young guys on this last run with those veteran presence there. They do.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
who are you going to put there? I mean, you don't see Trent Frederic in the lineup?
I see him in the lineup, but I don't see him being, an 82 game player. I could see him being in the 50s.
I think they want to. I think he's going to be on that team. It depends. They have to make some moves, right? Because they added Zaka in.
I think this is kind of
They added in Zaka and Krejci, and we only lost Hall. So the moves have to happen. That's for sure.
So why don't we get into the next topic here with some of the roster predictions to make this a little bit easier to break down and walk people through how Frederic could be pushed out of the lineup. So I believe Kevin had originally sent this in our group chat that they came out with a somewhat prediction via Jim Montgomery of what the top two lines in Boston would look like. The top line with Marchand not healthy to begin the year. I'm talking right out the year. Marchand being hurt.
Yeah.
You're having a top line of Pavel Zacha, Patrice Bergeron, and Jake DeBrusk.
Yep.
And then a second line of Hall, Krejci, and Pasternak.
Which will be that'll be their line all year.
And we'll stop there for now before we kind of get into the coin toss. For that top six to start the year, I'm going to say that the second line is going to be significantly better than the first line.
I mean, that's not exactly like, do you think you're Nostradamus for coming up with that? Do you want like a pat in the head?
I think a lot of people are down on Krejci. Have you, I've been through the Twitterverse.
If you know anything about hockey, you know that the Hall Pasta line is going to be better than the line with DeBrusk and Zacha. That line's going to be better. I'm not down on Krejci. Krejci's ability to pass the puck to Hall and Pasta, still there. Very much so still there. I watched him play a couple months ago at the World Championship. Still there. He'll very well be able to feed them the puck. He could have his most assists he's ever had in his career this year.
Yeah, I think so. It's the best talent he's ever played.
He is the best
with.
Pure goal scorers he's ever had. Taylor Hall is as pure of a goal scorer as they come. He really is. He didn't show it that much last year, but he did once he got Pasternak. And he's just as good of a playmaker. And then the second purest goal scorer in the NHL is going to be on his right in Pasternak. The only guy I think is a pure goal scorer is Austin Matthews. And I don't think that's very refutable anymore. I guess Ovechkin's there, but I think pure goal scorer, Pasta's right there with him, sitting there at number 2.
So when Marchand comes back and goes to the top line and Zacha probably gets bumped down to the third line, what do you think then? Who do you think is going to have the more significant line, 1 or 2?
2, still 2. They'll probably be pretty even. It'll be really like 2. I mean, you're going to have a guy who could put up 100 points in Marchand, a guy who can put up 100 points in Pasta, and then a guy who can put up 80 in Hall, a guy who can put up 80 in Bergeron, and a guy who can put up 50 to 60 in Krejci and DeBrusk. Right? I mean, with the talent around him in a full season, I think they're pretty even lines. It actually, that's where I have so much trouble with the Bruins falling off a cliff this year, because those 2 lines healthy just won't let them. There's too much talent there. The third
Potentially,
line.
yeah.
Yeah, the third line, and that's where things get weird, obviously, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to look like because you are right. I think Zacha, Smith, and Coyle at this point in time are better players than Trent Frederic. I do. But I think the Bruins want Trent Frederic on that line. I do. So
I do too. In that line
I
last
don't
year,
know. Like, I don't get it. I don't know what they're going to do. I still don't. They haven't made a move. We've been talking about this for 3 months. They
Yeah.
haven't done anything.
and that line last year, the 11, 12, 13 line, was really good at times. Like great with puck possession. Did they score a ton? Not really. But all of their shifts, it was like a 2-month span in the middle of the season where like every shift on the ice, you were like, holy cow, these guys are legit.
Possession
Like this
game's
is a
ridiculous.
great
They
third
just hold the
line.
puck.
Yeah. And typically that was something that the Bruins had in their fourth line up until recently. And last year, I think, was the first year that we saw the Bruins' fourth line
Have no identity.
become completely insignificant. And it just seems like the Bruins' fourth line now has become a dumping ground for middle six talent that gets pushed out and beat out for spots. And I think that was kind of one of the major flaws last year. And I think that's going to be the biggest headache and flaw of this team going into this year. The fourth line is a bag of pucks.
The fourth line, but the weird thing is like it's a fourth line that, if constructed right, will be one of the most talented fourth lines in the NHL. But that's really not the role.
So if we have a Zacha, Coyle, and Smith third line, who makes up the fourth? Trent Frederic. You say that he's going to get some more time. We'll assume that he'll make the fourth line.
I hate him in a fourth line role. I just don't. It's not. Could he do it? Yeah, he could, but it's not the best use of his talent. I just don't. I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to go Steen, Foligno, and Frederic. I don't know.
You still have Nosek there. You have Chris Wagner.
I think Wagner will be in Providence to start the year. I think we're pretty set on that. I think he finished the season hard, but
honestly, I would rather have Wagner there than Foligno based on playoff.
But I just don't know that it's going to happen.
Yeah,
I think the Bruins, in all honesty, need to clear out Nosek, Foligno, and Smith probably to get what they want. Not even saying that's the best team, but to get what I think they want, that's what they need to do. But I don't know if they're going to do it. We could see guys get. I think this is going to be the most interesting camp, and we haven't even talked about Lysell. We haven't talked about Lysell, who legit has a chance that if Lysell comes out on fire, Zacha's going to start the season on the third line.
Then I think you have more problems.
Bigger problem, yeah.
Again. And like, this is the epitome of the Bruins and why they struggle to draft and develop. Your top six is set in. Like, honestly, in my opinion, I don't see, like, Fabian Lysell might get, but 9
it would be
to 10
stupid.
games.
It'd be stupid because when Marchand comes back, what are you going to do with him?
You're going to put him on a third and fourth line?
No, it just doesn't make sense. That's the thought I just can't wrap my head around.
That is
because DeBrusk earned it. DeBrusk is going to be on that line. DeBrusk earned that. And I think Craig DeBrusk can have a good year. Like, I really do. I don't see DeBrusk falling backwards again.
But if Fabian Lysell comes in and he impresses and he performs, and say he comes in and they're going to say, you had a really good camp. We're going to give you 9 games at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, which they could.
See what you
9-game trial.
And if nothing works out, we're going to send you back to the WHL in Vancouver or the AHL, probably the WHL. And we're going to push your entry-level contract off.
He's going to Providence.
He's going to Providence. They already said he's not going back to juniors. They already said
that?
Yeah.
I missed
he's
that.
Playing Providence or Boston. He's not. There's no way he goes back to juniors.
So you're burning the ELC no matter what. So I guess it doesn't matter there. But if he impresses, Jake DeBrusk, in my opinion,
comes more expendable. But yeah, I mean he does because you have your wingers are there. I mean, you don't really. The Bruins don't have a winger problem.
Because I mean, if you do that, right?
But DeBrusk's contract is so good. It's just like it's tough.
If Lysell can put it together and give you top 6 minutes, is it going to be awful if you have a third line of Zacha, Coyle, DeBrusk?
No, you'd have a legit chance of being a playoff force. DeBrusk could play on a third line as long as he's like getting the right opportunities and he's playing power play and he's out there. You know what I mean? Like
And then
I don't think DeBrusque's problem with Cassidy in the situation was less, I think, that he was on the third line. So he was playing with Charlie Coyle and Craig Smith. I don't think he felt disrespected by that. I think it was the minutes he got and the role he was in. You can still have third line guys getting 18 minutes, 17 minutes. That Coyle does it all the time. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that's a problem at all. But then it's just the Bruins are the weirdest team where like everyone's like, oh, they're prospect pool, they have no depth, but they do. They have too much depth. They have an awkward amount of depth that needs to be moved to get assets to get younger and get draft prospects. That's what needs to happen. It's like this classic situation of we were always like Bruce was always tinkering with the lines because he had too many options that are all at the same goddamn level. It's like, hey, if injuries hit, we have a guy to plug in. Yeah, but we don't need 36 guys who can put up 30 points to plug in.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. Kev, give us your lineup. Kev, give us your lineup. Connor and I have talked too much. Give us your lineup.
I mean, for what? Third, fourth line?
Yeah.
Yeah, give us your third and fourth line.
I mean, Zacha, Coyle, Smith. Unless they trade Smith, he's the name that I always keeps talking about. But
Calgary wants Smith.
Yeah.
Calgary wants Smith.
So,
I don't think it's going to happen.
They would have to put money out. That's going to be the question. I mean, can you work out a deal where you get, either a Hannafin out of it?
I don't think so.
Mackenzie Weegar out of it?
Are you joking?
No.
They're not giving either of those guys up, dude. They're trying to win a cup.
No, I'm dead serious. They're actually talking about moving a defenseman because they have an overabundance and they want more cap space.
Yeah, but it'll probably be Clinton.
Weegar. Yeah, it won't be Weegar and Hannafin, I don't think.
Hannafin was the first name that was actually mentioned.
Think so, buddy.
I'm spitballing on Weegar just because they haven't signed him to an extension yet, and there hasn't been any talk about an extension.
I don't think they're going to move either their top two defensemen for Craig Smith, but.
Well, I'm not saying it would be a one-for-one deal. They're not fucking Peter Chiarelli on the Edmonton Oilers, But it doesn't make sense that Smith will go to another contender at this point. And I think that's the sticking point for the Bruins on trying to move him. They want something of value. And in order to move him to a contender, they are going to need to take cap space back. Like, we're going to get into this in the next couple of episodes, but I went through and breaking down every team in every division and their cap space, who came in, who left. There's really a very, very, very small amount of quote-unquote contenders who have any cap space. That's becoming the problem. It's just not there. I think your best opportunity, if Craig Smith is going to get moved, is going to be right in the middle of training camp or right after. If he doesn't, I don't see it happening.
No, it would have to be at the trade deadline. If not, I think the Bruins, I know. It's going to be weird. We're going to have to, Bruins training camp's going to have a lot to it.
And then if he sticks it out till the trade deadline.
We're running real long on Bruins roster. We got to get into the defenseman. I got to move us along. That's my job here.
Another day.
Another day. We're going to have another podcast before the season starts. Bruins defensive structure. I think we're pretty much in agreement with this. Connor, you can just rattle it off. Go.
So McAvoy, Grzelcyk at the beginning of the year are injured, so I'll leave them out for now. What I would really love to see is a top pairing of Lindholm and Zboril, a second pair of Carlo and Riley, and a third pair of Forbert and Clifton. Maybe mix a Sean in there somewhere if he has a good camp. But the biggest piece of this defense core is I really want to see Jakub Zboril in top pair minutes. I want to see what he's got. He played great before the injury last year. If they can work him into the top four and be able to bump Grzelcyk down into more favorable pairings on that third pair, I think that would be ideal for the Bruins going forward.
Yeah. I don't disagree. It's the whole Bruins thing is just wait and see. I'm done talking Bruins. It's making my head spin. I don't want to talk about them anymore.
Frustrated now.
Yeah, there's just nothing's happened, and we're just gonna have to wait and see. It's all wait and see. So we're going to jump into my favorite segment of the podcast, the one that reminds me of Kevin just laying out on the beaches in Nantucket, the salt of the East.